Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Actually, this is the way you're supposed to do this. I'm supposed to actually look at Ken to know what's going on. But then my back is to the people over there. So I have a swiveling $69.99 Office Depot chair. So I can do this. This won't be too annoying, will it, Ken?
Should we send a bill to Office Depot because you just said that?
Maybe we should sell them
It's
in.
very annoying on the audio side, I can tell you that much.
Look at this. Everything swivels. I'll just do this for the next 2
Yeah,
hours.
I have to tell you, from my point of view, I don't like it so much either.
I'm getting dizzy.
I'm getting dizzy.
Okay. Enough of
And
that.
no jokes about you already were.
No, enough of that. Enough of that. Okay, our first hour today on Trento Vision. When we say Trento Vision, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the simulcast broadcast of the show. We have a camera set up and literally broadcasting, we're narrowcasting the signal anywhere in the world, wherever the internet will go.
Okay, I just have to interrupt you for 1 second because I have to tell you that Joe is going to be on vacation next week.
No way.
Yes.
Bye, Joe.
So he won't be back until the 19th. So everybody
you're
wave to
kidding me.
Joe.
Bye,
and
Tune in the show. We'll say
miss
hi to you.
iHeartRadio, Joe. Listen every day.
Every day.
Every day. Listen. Call in. Ken, don't take his call, okay?
He heard that. Come on. That's not nice. He's still there.
Joe is the Scotty running the USS Enterprise here.
More power, Scotty.
Yeah. And
Link it up, Captain.
Mark can do the voices. We have to have him do the voices. The Trento Vision concept is the video side of what we're doing. So we're broadcasting to you, so you could watch this stuff, and it is pretty interesting. I watch some of the archive shows.
Yikes.
It's pretty interesting stuff to see what's going on, and if you watch constantly, you can see us eating cookies. Now, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool stuff.
I can
So,
find a picture of the Cookie Monster.
Eating a cookie. Yeah. And the radio side, WNN is Winners. What is it? Winners News Network. It used to be. It would be Winners News Network. It's a health and wealth radio station here, which we've said many times we have neither, but it's a big 50,000 watt station. Broadcasting out of Boca Raton on the 50th floor of the Beasley Tower here.
50th?
50th floor. They'll never know. It's not quite 50. It's got a 5 in it, okay? And we go from about North Miami all the way up to Kissimmee, which is Osceola County, just south of Orange County, where Orlando is, on the turnpike. If you're driving on I-95, we make it a little more tricky for you. We only go up to about Fort Pierce. But the population is 2, 3, 4, 5 million people, depending on a couple of little factors, and about 500,000 Jewish people. This is a very big Jewish area. And our work on national security, we're typically national security radio. We're experts on national security issues, primarily on the Islamic threat to the globe and in specifically to the United States. We've been working for a couple of months trying to awaken voters in South Florida and the rest of the United States to the failures of this president on the issues of national security so that you don't vote for him. But no, you wouldn't listen to us. You voted in a president that's a failure on national security issues. And sadly, you're going to see an increase in Islamic jihad worldwide. You're going to see an increase in the Muslim Brotherhood's activity in the United States. And we will, next week, we'll start transitioning to bringing you inside information on national security issues. So you need to tune in every day. Plus, we'll deal with the local issues. It's a local station, and the breaking news, like this very sad piece of information. What's the latest for Petraeus, CJ?
The latest is that he resigned for having and cited an extramarital affair as the reason for his resignation, and of course, President Obama accepted his resignation immediately.
I think when I first hear that, my spidey senses go straight up. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, hold on, something doesn't smell right. And just like the whole YouTube video story right at the beginning, you're going, whoa.
Exactly.
It doesn't smell right.
Yeah.
There's something just.
They're going to try to
you know.
pin Benghazi on him, is what it is, and say that he was away from his desk doing something he shouldn't have been doing,
That's what's
and
gonna
that's
happen.
why Benghazi happened. And maybe he was doing what he was doing, but he was doing it for a long time probably, and had nothing to do with his job, and they held it over him, and so he just outed himself before anybody could out him for him.
As they say
But
in
he
Indiana,
was-
something's hanky. Something hanky is up.
Something hanky is going on in the panky.
The reports were during I think it was the night of 9/11. He went to the movies to see the premiere of Argo as a guest of Ben Affleck. Have you guys seen that movie yet? Argo.
Actually, I do want to see it.
You
Looks
have
like-
to see it. It's
Looks like a
pretty
really good movie.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's a story.
Why don't you buy us
of,
movie tickets?
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
It's the story of the CIA's unique mission to rescue 6 Americans who escaped from the embassy in Tehran in 1979, went and hid in the Canadian embassy, and our good friends, the Canucks, cooperated with the CIA. And the CIA basically put this gigantic ruse together of a Hollywood production where they put ads in Hollywood magazines and billboards and everything up. And it was going to be filmed on location. And a location team was traveling around the world selecting locations. And that's part of the story. You have to go see it. I don't want to give it all away to you, but it's a fascinating cloak and dagger true story. And everything is pretty accurate. Gets a little sloppy at the end in the credits, and I won't tell you what happens, but it kind of missed the point of the whole thing. But the movie itself as an explanation of rescuing the Americans is a fascinating story. So that's Argo. But the point is, Petraeus was not at his desk during the time that Benghazi was taking place. He was at the theater. So it's got to be difficult when you're the head of the CIA and you got 6 guys constantly watching you. They know where you are every second of the day.
Right.
You're that critically important to the
Right.
world. How do you have a little escapade, and obviously it was ongoing? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, the security guys have to be in on it, and one of them probably just said, "This is crazy. This is going to hurt us." And well, we'll see. Anyway, very difficult for Petraeus. He did step down, which is the right thing to do. And I got to check.
He should have
this thing.
stepped down before he stepped up.
Yes. Okay.
Don't
she's
you
got
think?
it. Good. What does that mean? That's kind of secret talk, but I think I know you.
Are you
Yep.
talking to your?
No, I'm talking to CJ.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting also texts that Petraeus
Well, I guess he is General Petraeus after all, right?
betray us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's what we're
Sorry
going to
to say that.
The first hour, we took a look at some local stuff about Allen West, and we've concluded that it's a circus, and that's what Dave D. reported from the ground regarding the Allen West issue. Keep your eye on that. There's rumors that if he indeed loses, that he may become a personality. Where else?
Fox News.
Fox News.
Fox News. He'll be
Yeah.
on Fox as one of the guys. I'm sure he'll be giving speeches around the world. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. And he struggled a lot. I don't know his financial condition, but I know he's not a wealthy man by any means. So this may actually be one of those positive results if he loses. We haven't determined that
He
yet.
actually might make a run in the next election.
I don't think we've seen the last of him. I
No,
think
by
he'll.
any stretch of the imagination.
Now, what he may do,
Right.
he may find his way. I'm speculating to a red state instead of this goofy, whatever color state ours is.
Right.
He may go to Texas or someplace
Where it's a secure thing. You don't have to worry
strong,
about
and he can make it through his legislature, through his state legislature. I mean, congressional, and then in possibly a senatorial bid 6
So
years
maybe
from now.
just Georgia
Well,
then.
could
Because
be Georgia where he's from.
Isn't he from Georgia?
You know,
Yes.
everybody, he's one of the few people that you say that Alan West down here, and he's in our district. He goes, "Oh God, we love him." He's one of those few hardcore name recognition ones that people, for what we do, says, "Boy, I wish he was in our district," type of thing. So, he definitely has star power anywhere he goes.
And the military analogy is great because somebody like Dwight D. Eisenhower, I mean, those who were on the side of Eisenhower, like those on the side of Allen, just, see a great patriotic human being committed to the principles of America. The Germans and the Japanese didn't like Eisenhower too much, the enemies. Well, analogously, those people who are the Democrats now, who view Allen as the enemy, they hate him as much as the Germans hated Eisenhower. I mean, there's such a vitriolic hatred on the part of Democrats toward Allen West. It's just love or hate the guy. There's no middle ground.
That's right. And the Jewish community down here does love what we do.
They love him, yes.
Well, they love us too.
Yeah.
They love us.
Where'd that come from?
That same type of vitriolic
Oh,
They
hatred
love
that-
us, and if you love
That's
us, you
right.
can call us at 1-888-565-1470.
This is the belly of the beast as far as Liberalville down here. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than this, other than out in San Francisco or someplace like that.
Somebody wrote to me, the timing is suspect, Petraeus, but I doubt anyone would embarrass themselves and their family that if it were not true. Were you aware of this? Yes, we're aware of this, little texter. And you never know in this crazy world, but that would be pretty embarrassing. We'll see what happens with his family. But our first hour, we took a look at those issues. If anybody has any more information on when Florida is going to declare a winner for the state, we'd like you to give us a call. We got a little sidetracked with Petraeus here, 888-565-1470. And here's what we're going to do right now. I got a surprise for everybody. I'm bringing in what we would like to do. We have been beating up the Democrats for a long time here. We've been beating them up for several weeks, and this is what talk radio and education is about. If there's a viewpoint you don't like, you beat people up, okay? You ideologically, intelligently, logically analyze a position and say, we'll pulverize that if you listen to the lead-in copy, and we believe our position is better than the Democrat position. Pretty simple. So we argue for that. They believe theirs is better, they cheat, and they win elections, okay? We're at a little disadvantage there. But we have found it extremely difficult to get an intelligent Democrat to sit down and discuss these issues in some logical, dispassionate manner. Usually they go flying off the space or whatever. And the debates we've had, and are they online, those debates? Can people see those?
Yeah.
Not
the full debate. I forget.
Tom,
Tom, we got hundreds of videos. I forget where half of them are.
We'll find them somewhere. You can watch some of the debates we've had with leading Democrats from Palm Beach County, so you can see exactly what we are talking about. So we thought it would be very educational for our listeners and viewers here on WNN 1470 to hear from two well-informed Democrat leaders in the United States of America. So I've managed to assemble two leaders of the Democrat Party for this hour. We're going to talk directly to them. If you'd like to talk with them, you can call 888-565-1470. And the two Democrat leaders are with us right now. Here they are.
So I can make the point counterpoint?
This is the surprise.
Surprise, you're a Democrat.
Surprise, you're a Democrat.
No, you rat.
I did not tell my colleagues here that I was doing this.
Oh, no.
I had no idea.
And they're so good at beating up
No.
Democrats
That is so wrong.
I thought Wouldn't it be nice if they had to be one for 45
I
minutes?
was one for most of my life.
I've lived with one for 30 years, so they're no surprise to me, okay?
So
Oh my gosh.
what I'd like to do now, and I have no plan. There's no plan.
no.
This is off the cuff.
Okay.
But you have to play a role, okay? Disembodied voice, Mark, say hello.
Hello.
CJ, say hello.
See, he already doesn't sound cheerful now
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a Democrat.
And this will work very well if you folks at home, in the car, whatever, who've been wanting to ask Democrats questions. Anything goes. Any issue, anything, anywhere in the face of the earth. Now's your chance to ask two of the country's top Democrats what they think about anything. And the way you can do that is give us a call at 888-565-1470. But I can get the show
Okay.
on the road here.
You
So
know,
let's
there's
talk about
getting
him.
thrown off the cliff, and then there's getting thrown off the cliff without water to break your landing,
Well,
right?
Hey, thanks, guys, for
since
coming in
my
the studio.
Since
Yeah.
my first tenet is abortion, we can talk about that if you want to.
Thanks, guys, for coming into the studio and being with us here.
Thank you
know,
for having us, Tom.
Thanks
No
for having
problem.
us, Tom.
Your folks typically don't like speaking on these issues, and they
You're a
certainly
hater.
they certainly don't like. No, you got to be really. You got to play the part.
I am. I thought, okay, go ahead. I'm
You
sorry.
got to play the part, and they typically will not come and sit down. I can't get any Democrat to come in here. You're always welcome. Any Democrat who is not on any sort of parole or has anything attached to their leg, you're more than welcome to come into the studio and discuss or debate these issues with us. But if you are one of the others,
Healthy snacks
we
will
may-
be provided.
Yes, and maybe a little weed too for some of. If you're from Colorado or what other state just legalized marijuana, then we'll see. All right, hi guys.
See, I
How
guess
you
I
doing?
should know
Thanks
that.
for being here.
Joe, okay.
Who we have?
Joe from Palm Beach.
So Joe from Palm Beach wants to have the first question, I guess. Joe, you're with Tom Trento. Hi, how are you? Hey, Joe, you're with Tom. You there?
Joe.
he hung up.
Joe got lost.
Joe got lost. Okay, he'll
Yeah,
call back.
he'll call
Okay.
All right, I'll.
You want to start the box?
yeah,
Do
I'll-
you have some questions for us?
I mean,
what would you
off
like
the
to know?
top of my head,
Yes.
and I really haven't thought. I wanted this kind of be freewheeling, like in real life. What has always struck me is the idolatry, not ideology. We'll get into that. The idolatry that virtually every single one of you have toward Obama. It borders on sort of a respect that becomes theocratic, where he's almost a godlike individual.
Well,
Let me talk to her first, okay? Am I mistaken with that, or is that consistent in the party with Democrats, and is it consistent in your life?
Well, I think what we see is something very similar to what we had with the way American people felt about President Kennedy. He was a symbol for the country and for a new generation of Americans, in the same way that Barack Obama is for a generation of Democrats, and I think that's what you're seeing. I don't think it's idolatry at all.
And you, sir?
for some, I do agree that it is and that's actually the minority versus what the true nature of the person is, because what he's bringing about, is a unification, of America. I mean, his whole plan, his whole agenda.
This is not going to work.
Come on, I did mine with a straight face.
She was good, And
I was going for a roll, but I just
Come
started
on.
looking at it. I'm sorry. All right.
you were doing good
I was
there.
doing good. No, but he's bringing unity. He's bringing the unity, of people we've always left out in the past, of people that we've always cast away, and he's our first black president. You have to look at that. That's a significant accomplishment. Of all, and this is how we bring everybody else together.
I would like to pick up on this theme,
Sure.
if I may.
Yes, go
Over?
ahead.
Yeah.
Over.
Okay. I think, especially if you look back at the divisions in America after 8 years of George W. Bush,
Yes.
I think you don't
Agreed.
see that after George W. Bush. I think people were so relieved that Bush was gone, and rightfully so, that everybody could see that we would all pull together and the country would be united. And Barack Obama was the one who did it. And so...
Okay. No, I mean, if you want to get in on the conversation, 888-565-1470. Tom Trento with two Democrat leaders in America, and I'm asking them questions that anybody could. You could ask any question you want. So you're telling me, if I understand you correctly, that President Obama, in the style of John F. Kennedy, has united the United States of America.
I think he's healing a lot of the wounds that we suffered, and a lot of the wounds that we suffered under George Bush. Yeah.
Did you, by any chance, see a video? It was going out yesterday of a black guy in Chicago talking about the end of Israel, and
You get crazies like that all the time, Tom. I mean, even on your side, you get crazy people like out in California. The crazy person went off on off the deep end.
which person was that?
The one who was screaming at our Arab brothers. I can't remember because I don't have facts here right off the top of my head like you do.
Oh well.
But
Let's just go. I'll grant that.
I did see the video,
Right.
and of course it's complete nonsense.
All right.
And frankly, you're not going to see that person sitting up and doing a report on MSNBC or on Fox News, but you will see somebody like Pat Buchanan saying pretty much the same thing, and everybody thinks that's acceptable. And he's a Republican.
And he had a book called the White Pride Race or whatever it was.
Did you by any chance
So there's
see?
plenty of that in the Republican Party, and in fact, that's the reason why most Jewish people are Democrats to begin with.
Because there's vitriolic hatred that goes right out of the Tea Party, right through the rest of everybody
When
else.
the KKK is running for office, they don't go to register themselves as Democrats. They go to register themselves as Republicans.
Okay. I'm speaking to two Democrat leaders here, and we're just kind of walking our way through. And 888-565-1470. Let me pursue a couple of things here. You talked about Jewish people being Democrats. Help us understand. You're a Jewish person, from what I understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, from where I sit, President Obama is no friend of Israel. Now, I hear on your side all the time,
come on.
He's an absolute friend. He's the best friend Israel ever had. And most Jewish Democrats, I think it was like 65% this time, a little lower than last time.
A vast majority.
Vast majority, Jewish Democrats, are voting for President Obama, saying he's the best friend of Israel. Why is he the best friend of Israel?
Well, I don't happen to think he is the best friend of Israel per se, and certainly he's not the best friend of the current Israeli leader. I don't think they have a very good relationship, but I think that gets confused with the relationship that the United States has with Israel, and especially the lawmakers of the United States from both sides of the aisle. So I think bipartisan support for Israel is there, as it always has been. And we have more.
Well, also you have to look. Barack Obama understands the Arab mindset. We've never had a person inside the White House who's understood the Arab mindset. And, I think he can bring, that divide between Israel and that culture, to finally have some peace and resolution.
Do you think that Arab mindset, you're referring to his background, do you think he's a Muslim?
Well, now you're just going off on trying to paint him as some radical left-wing.
I asked a simple question.
Is that where you're trying to go with this, Tom? You're just trying to paint him as a because that's just completely unfair. That's completely wrong. And he's a Christian. He said he's a Christian. He stated he's a Christian. Are you going to start looking for his birth certificate now? Come on. Let's have some little semblance about this. He grew up in a Muslim culture. Yes, he did grow up in Muslim culture, and that's what makes him understand their mindset. Where he's the first one, I think, to can bring these two groups together. I mean, this is. I mean, all of our other presidents don't have any idea what that culture is like, and this is a cultural divide that we're having. You know,
between Muslims and Jews.
It's
and
a cultural
Christians.
divide. You know, if we can just unite, you know, we can get along.
Oh yeah, I know. So
do you hate all Muslims, Tom?
so back to my question.
Well, do you hate all Muslims, Tom?
Back to my question.
Well, I was asking.
Do you-
I get to ask a question too, do I not, Tom?
As soon as you answer mine, you can ask whatever you want. Do you think he's a Muslim or not? It's very simple.
He's not acting. He's not a Muslim carrying a Quran. No, he's not. Okay, he's a Christian. He's
Okay.
a Christian. He says he's a Christian. He acts like a Christian. He goes to church, and everything.
Oh, well,
what do you want me to tell you?
Well, let's ask our caller. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller. Mort, are you there on the line?
I are here.
Okay, this is Tom Trento. I'm with two Democrat leaders in our surprise hour here on TrentoVision.tv and on the radio WNN 1470. And my two former colleagues are now two Democrat leaders, and we're just having a conversation and letting the world in on it. You have a question for these guys, or any thoughts or observations?
Yes, I have a question. But first, let me make the observation that you must be very lonely, fellow, to invite two Democrats like this here.
Well, one of them brought delicious cookies, so I'm easy that way.
That is the oldest Democrat trick in the world. Let me ask either of the
free cookies.
of the crazy cookie Democrats. I've seen recently on CNN. That's the Clinton News Network. You might.
Yeah, I know.
Another fine president.
Yeah, they have a new favorite Obama enabler on there by the name of Van Jones. He was the thug in chief on the inside of the administration.
Well, where do you get off calling him the thug in chief?
Well, let him ask the question.
I mean, he's already painting this as
He's the questioner.
I'm not,
You'll get
I'm
your
not
chance.
answering my question here.
All
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Gee, I feel like I'm on the McLaughlin report. He was he was the thug in chief on the inside. Now he appears to be the thug in chief on the outside, and he's a regular on CNN. And I'd like to ask either of you Democrats: does he speak for Democrats?
Does Van Jones speak for Democrats? That is your question.
Mm-hmm.
Van Jones is his individual person. He can speak for whoever he wants to speak for. I mean, he's not associated with the Democrat Party. He is not associated with the Obama administration. He was, but I mean, just like any other consultant, he goes out and speaks his mind the way he wants to. I see nothing wrong with that. I mean,
well, he's touted himself as a pure socialist. Does that comport with democratic principles?
He says he's a pure socialist. I mean, you use the word socialist like it's some evil entity, like it's some evil, vestige of a ray of death from above. There are, we do live under socialized things all the time. Our military is a socialized government.
Yeah. Do you get Social Security?
Do you get Social Security more?
Do you get
do you
Medicare?
Get Medicare more? I mean, come on.
I'm independent.
Or do you send those checks back to the government every month?
Let me state formally and publicly that I'm independently indigent.
Okay.
And if you want to be independently indigent, you can call us at 888-565-1470. We're initiating a little experiment here. We have my two former colleagues, Mark and CJ, now as dyed-in-the-wool, experienced Democrat leaders. And we have callers calling in and asking them questions, and I'm asking them questions so we can get inside the mind of those who are on the other side. Speaking of socialism, as Mort raised, CJ, I mean, are you guys socialist? I mean, the president has been trained in socialist doctrine. We've seen that. He had Van Jones and others who are socialist as part of his network. He has moved early on in his administration to nationalize and I mean, the U.S. government owns the majority share of General Motors right now. He has socialized
And
medical
who
care.
authorized that?
He socialized Medicare.
Who
right?
authorized it?
Yeah, the legislature of the United
Congress
States.
of the United
Yes.
States of
Yeah.
America, the
And the
House
Supreme
and
Court.
the Senate.
Yes, and the Supreme Court agreed
So
with it.
how is he the only
He's
one responsible for
exactly.
He initiated.
that?
He
It
put it
couldn't have
together.
happened unless the Republicans in Washington also agreed with it. They could have stopped it, and they didn't.
No, I don't think that's exactly right. But do you guys believe in socialism, that the government should have a dynamic and ongoing existence?
You're a big supporter of the military, are you not?
If you're defining
Mm-hmm.
socialism as the government having a role in your life, I think that's perfectly appropriate for the
Right.
government to have a role in
You
your
would not
life.
have roads to
I don't
drive
think
upon.
it means that we're a socialist country.
I mean,
Should the government tell you whether or not you should have an abortion? Or
oh, do you
could
wanna
have an
the-
abortion?
Do you want to have the abortion argument? I thought we were talking
Well,
about
hang on, I'm asking
what
her-
does socialism have to do with abortion?
No, the
It's
statement
to-
was that the government, it's okay for the government to have a role in your life.
Yep.
Okay. Is it okay for
Because
the
it would
government
be
to tell
complete
you?
anarchy and chaos if it were any other way.
I'm listening. Is it okay for the government to say you are not allowed as a woman to have a procedure which takes the unborn child out of you? This government doesn't think that's good. Would that be okay if the government wielded its strength that way, its power that way?
Well,
freedom of choice is what it is. This is all about choice.
It's the role of government.
It's her choice.
I would
whether-
be more concerned with the government telling me that I had to have an abortion when I didn't want one, like they do in China, than I am with the
No, no,
arrangement that we have
I
here in the
completely
United States.
agree with CJ on that one. I mean, the government has no right to tell
Okay,
you. to
Mort,
have an
you
abortion.
still there?
Yes, sir.
And we also have Robert on the line.
Okay, let's bring Robert in. And Robert, you're in our sociological experiment here. And do you have a question for one of these guys, or an observation, a comment?
Well, I'm going to be part of the sociological experiment because I'm a Democrat.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm
Welcome.
going to turn Republican.
How are we doing?
How are we doing? Ratings on scale 1 to 10. Yeah.
We're changing clothes here, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Hey, listen, I'm actually married to a Democrat, so it's not that far off for me. So.
I just want to ask you why we Republicans got beaten so badly.
He's
Yeah, he's switching. Yeah, I know. Well, hey, we kicked your ass. You know, Obama has a better organization.
I know, but why?
Well, because he had a better.
What? No, you're talking as the Democrat.
Democrat, right,
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
I'm not out of
He's
character.
on. He's all right.
Yeah, it's very easy. I mean, he had a better ground game as far as, especially on the internet. While you guys were out there sticking yard signs in the ground, he was on the internet and getting the troops all rallied together and took it to another level.
And I'll add to that. This is Tom, the Republican. The only no, I guess you're playing the role. The real Republican speaking. That one of the primary reasons why we lost, and this is the frightening reason for me, is that there's been a very significant and dynamic shift in our culture to the way people believe how they relate to government. And typically in the Republican mindset, government is minimized. It's not very involved in people's lives with restrictions other than to protect human life and to protect our borders and defense, all of that. And it's not a provider of every need we have, no matter what it is: education, health care, pensions, all these sort of different components. And it looks like the country has shifted more toward a European socialist model where the citizens want the government to play that larger dynamic role in providing not just a safety net, but the whole environment of safety. And I think that's why Republicans lost, because people want to change in government. They want government to be their nanny.
Plus, you have a sucky candidate in Mitt Romney,
Plus,
who
yeah,
nobody is excited
Nobody's-
about at
I
all.
mean, you guys tried to put up a candidate that.
And
know,
then
that
you-
was
and then
great-
you add
that was
Paul
about as good
Ryan
as
in the mix.
Kerry was. You remember Kerry? I mean, he
well,
was
no,
your Kerry.
Well,
I was not. I
don't
was
wanna-
not happy.
I don't
want
want to play Monday morning quarterbacks on candidates.
Well, go ahead. Let the color.
Yeah, Robert.
Hello, this is Republican Robert.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
What happened from 2010 to 2012, and what's going
Shocking.
to happen going forward, where the demographics are not going to change? They're going to get, this country is getting browner, okay? It's getting less likely to vote for the principles that we, the Republicans, are promoting. So how are we going to change that?
Well, that's a great question, and
Well,
it's,
you should reach out to the Hispanic voters and to the other demographics like we do.
Well, to answer Robert's question as the Republican, Tom Trent, there's only two options. One, we change, or two, they change. Those are the only two options. And there's a battle within our party, the Republican Party, right now. And many are saying,
Now, you're a Democrat.
no, that's Mark. This is Tom speaking. I'm the Republican.
It's hard to tell.
There's a battle in the Republican Party right now, and a good portion of the leadership is saying we've got to accommodate and adapt to the browning of America, just like you said, Roger.
Well,
Robert.
I'll tell you what the problem is with you Republicans right now, gentlemen, Tom and Robert. Okay, in the space of 10 minutes, you have put down people because of their religion, because of their color, because of their healthcare choices or values. You just excluded more than half the country from even listening to anything that you have to say. After you do that, I don't even want to hear anything you have to say. What is this? You can't be patriotic American if your skin is brown, if you're a Muslim. The Democrats know and understand that all these people can be good Americans and they should all be included and welcomed, and you Republicans haven't figured that out.
That's
Excuse
the
me,
best
this is-
thing
this is
I've
more. I hate
heard
to
all
interrupt,
day,
but,
and I'll tell
Wait,
you-
wait, hey.
Whoa, stop.
Hang on. Hey, again, Robert, you respond, and then Mort, you.
Okay.
Okay, I'd just like to say that the Republicans, unfortunately, I'm a member of a country club, and all the people at the country club are white and they're old, and they don't go out to vote. They're not energized. Okay, the young people, the Hispanics, the Latinos, which is the same as Hispanics, the Asians, and all of the minorities have grown up believing in the democratic principles. And I just think that we're going to have to change.
All right, well, you're speaking now as a Democrat.
No, he's
sorry.
speaking as a
No.
Republican, and
you're
he's
good.
agreeing with me.
Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah, I
agreeing
got it,
with
got it.
me.
All right, Mort, you.
I don't even know where I am.
Well, then you probably,
You're a Democrat.
yeah.
Hey, Mort, weigh in, Mort.
Yeah, I do know where I am. I've been standing in line for about 3 hours. I'm at the Jog Road Library, which is my local polling place, and I'm trying to vote again. And as I come up, I'm just coming to the door, and I won't be able to carry my phone inside. So I wanted to ring off, but I'll let you know how this comes out, providing I don't get into a tangle with a UN observer.
Okay.
Thanks for talking.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you, Mort.
Thanks, Mort.
Thank you, Mort.
Is Robert still on the line? Or?
I don't know.
Still on, and I want to tell you I enjoy your program.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for calling us.
Thank you very
And
much.
call back in as a Democrat. We'll treat you with respect. We won't.
Certainly will.
Okay,
all right.
take it
We'll treat
easy.
you with respect. Okay.
Okay. That was interesting. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah, it
interesting.
was.
But Tom, I got a question for you.
Sure, yeah.
Do you believe in the military?
Do I believe in the military? Yes, I believe in the military.
And you're a strong supporter of the military, right?
Yes.
All right. How is the military different than a socialist system?
I don't know.
I'm asking because in fact, it even models more the communist system. If you really want to look at it, you have your working class, you have your elite class, and you have your leadership, and everything's taken care of by the government.
And also, you have no constitutional rights.
You have no. I mean the.
I was going to bring that up. I was,
Oh,
I was,
okay.
I was
Saying
waiting
is-
for him
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
and-
develop
Say
his
over.
to develop his.
I mean, if you look at it, it is a perfect, socialist, and you have health care taken care of. You have your pay taken care of. You have very great retirement benefits. You have the best retirement benefits in the world. So what is so wrong with that system that you have to put on a demagoguery of socialist label on something else where it's a perfectly great system that works for you, that works, tremendously great, and it's if you want to take it into the
I understand. I have
21st
your
century,
point.
you
I
can
get
take
your
it
point.
into the Star Trek world where you look at it.
I
And
can
everything's taken care of.
I can answer your question with a question, which will put it to rest very quickly,
Okay.
or an answer. Which would you prefer?
An answer.
All right. Well, I'll do a question.
I would prefer to be.
This is like the
I
old
would
magic
prefer
trick.
to be
Which
at a
hand do you want? Okay, I'll
spa
put this
in
one behind my
Arizona
back.
right now.
If what you're saying is true,
Right.
which I agree it is, and if it's applicable in the macro, then you must be for that complete program, that type of governance to be extended throughout all of the United States, as many former Central American countries did with a military leadership and became basically military dictatorial regimes, or as is the system in, I don't know, China right now, where the government and the military are essentially one running everything. You would be for extending that sort of model in the United States with the military taking the lead in legislative affairs.
Not the military per se. I mean, you look at the China model, okay? You look at the China, how they've integrated capitalism in with, with a big government concept that you're so against.
So one of the necessary elements of a successful military is the surrendering of your constitutional rights. You don't have the right to free speech, all of this. When
It's
you
not
join
a-
the military, because it has a unique and specific function and a dedication to that function. So if this is such a good system for all citizens, as opposed to a unique component of a government, would you be in favor? And the answer is no. You're not in favor of surrendering. If you're,
I don't think you would
I
find
think-
a
I
lot
think
of women in the Democratic Party right now who would be in favor of that. I could tell you that for sure. But also, I would like to point out that under President Barack Obama, recruitment for the military has not gone down.
Mm-hmm.
So people are still joining the military under Barack Obama. So anybody who's saying he's weak on the military, he doesn't like the military, and
And
all
50%,
these bad things are going to happen to the
and you're
military, and we
talking
won't
about-
be able to defend
Exactly. And
ourselves.
you're
That's baloney.
and half the military
And also,
voted
Robert
for him.
is back on the line.
who is?
Half the military voted for Barack Obama, half voted for Mitt Romney.
Well, no,
so
that-
where's the great, Barack Obama?
It's not quite the figures. It's heavily voted. The military votes for the Republicans heavily, particularly with absentee ballots. But which is he back, Robert?
Yeah.
Okay, Robert. Or is that the same Robert or a different Robert?
Yeah, no, this is Republican, Democrat.
Call him back in. Okay.
Well, you're a glutton.
happens
You're a
to
glutton
be-
for punishment.
who happens to be a retired lieutenant colonel with
Okay.
20 years in the U.S. Army.
Okay,
Okay.
then you can weigh in on this.
Okay, go ahead.
I take great offense at the gentleman who talked about socialism and and service to this country as the same. That
I
is
said the model.
absolute- Now
is
the model. Have you been in the military?
Yes, I have. A United States
And
Navy.
where
My father
is-
my father was in the military for 30 years, retired as a full-bird colonel.
Have you been in the military?
Yes, I have been. I was 4 years
Okay,
United States Navy.
have any of your rights inhibited because you were in the military?
Yeah, it's called Uniform Code of Military Justice. It supersedes.
That
It
does-
supersedes I'm sorry. Go look at the last article in the UCMJ. It says at the captain's
no,
discretion,
no,
he can
no.
charge you with anything.
I'm well versed in that, sir.
Okay, well, so am I.
I can tell you that I had never had any of my rights inhibited by serving 21 years
Okay.
in the U.S. Okay, and so personally, by the way, I don't believe that socialism inhibits your rights, but comparing them is absolutely ignorant.
I'm talking. No, it's not. I mean, you look at the pure communist model from Marx, from Lenin, all the way down. You have your working class, you have your elite class, and you have your superior class, which overruns all of it, and you have one man in charge. That is the pure communist manifesto doctrine.
Or you're applying that to the U.S. military?
Well, what I'm trying to say
let me
is
ask
there's
Robert.
similarities there.
Well, wait
and
a
that's
minute,
not
wait a minute. You know, the question was at the beginning of the program
Do you support
was
this?
government influence in people's lives. And just because the government has some influence in people's lives doesn't mean that that's socialism to begin with. And I don't think that any of us here are advocating for socialism. I don't think the military is socialist.
Well, what I was trying
And
to
I
point
think,
out. Right.
I think, you know, the government running the military a little bit differently than the way the rest of us conduct ourselves is perfectly appropriate, and it doesn't make it socialist.
Right.
Well, you would make the same claim about police forces, about fire departments, about anybody who tries to serve this country. And
I'm talking about the model, the structure. I was talking about the model.
Well, let him finish.
Can I finish?
Sure.
please,
Go ahead.
And I think that's absolutely ignorant. I served. I know what I'm talking about. I never had my rights inhibited.
Okay.
Never had. Just a minute, sir, please. Then I will let you speak. I never had to worry about what I was thinking, what I was saying, what I was doing. I was serving my country. It's your turn.
Okay.
Roger.
Let me interject one thing. It's 52 after the hour. Folks, hello. You're on TrentoVision.tv. On the radio side, WNN. If you want to get in on the crazy conversation, 888-565-1470. And we're doing some role-playing, trying to get inside the mind of a Democrat. And a Democrat called us up who's letting us live inside his mind a little bit. And he took a little bit of offense at Mark's sort of analytical his analysis of the structure of the military being somewhat socialistic. And Robert, our retired, you were what, a lieutenant colonel?
Yes.
Didn't like that, Mark. You didn't like that at all. Yeah, take it. There you go, Mark. Now, your turn, Mark. You got 1 minute to defend yourself, then we got to go.
What I'm saying is, once you sign your name to join into the United States military, you actually become property of the United States military. You do not have the right to leave anytime you want to. You do not have the right to take off and go down to the street, down to the corner, down to the 7-Eleven, whenever you want to. You have to abide by their rules, or they will actually cite you and throw you in jail. As you did not sign out of a log and go over here, I can throw you into a jail. That system does not apply in the Western capitalistic system. It is a completely different system where the military actually you are property of the military. Now you show me where in the Western system
hang
where
on. Robert, that's pretty good. How do you respond to that?
That is absolutely asinine.
What are you talking about?
I cannot say.
Absolutely, completely
It's called
asinine that I'm property of the U.S. military. That's screwy.
Don't let the term property, though. Don't let the term property, but the function, the limitation in your freedom as part of the military. You would grant that that's obvious. That's necessary. I mean, that's true, correct?
No, your behavior and your conduct is the same as if you were a good citizen. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What is it? Israeli military property of Israel?
No. Mark's point is if he's told to go on this deployment to this theater, he goes, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go home and hang out for a little while. That's part
of the contract.
Well, there is no contract in the Western system. My contract was with the Constitution.
Sir.
Go ahead.
Sir.
Go ahead.
We got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. We'll let you have the last word here, Robert.
That's what you understand when you're trying to serve your country. Thank you very much.
Good.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Robert.
Give us a call. See, part of now we're out of the exercise, okay? And one of the difficulties in these kinds of conversations is definition of terms.
Right.
You got to define terms, otherwise they go all over the place. So when we come back in our third hour, we're going to define socialism, and then we're going to look at what the Democratic Party is, the Republican Party, try to make some sense out of all this, and we will here on TrentoVision.tv and WNN 1470. We'll be back in just a little bit.